Welcome back, folks. When it comes to automating your home, trust the folks at Safety Systems. Control your security system, your lighting. You can get your doors to lock, your heat and air to come on and set to the right temperature, the audio, video in your home. Everything can be controlled by your smartphone. Safety Systems, that's the group that does it. They're the best in security systems, they're the best in home entertainment systems, and they're the best at home automation. Call VFL J.J. Surlis this week and ask him about what Safety Systems can do for your home. We're all stuck at home more. Might as well make your home kind of space age and futuristic. Safety Systems. Okay, Mark, I want to start with you. We've seen pro athletes opting out of the season. Seen it a lot in the NFL this past week, a lot on my favorite team. You've had players who opted out because I have a newborn baby, because my mother has diabetes, because I have a son who's got a case of asthma. You're seeing professionals walk away. College athletes, for the most part, you're not seeing that. There is a threat now from some Pac-12 players, but that's tied not only to the COVID response, but also to some of the social justice stuff they're asking for. For the most part, players aren't talking about opting out. Is that because they don't have a union? Is that because at that age, I didn't grasp it, most players wouldn't grasp the seriousness of this? I mean, you had a party at Alabama where kids were going to get COVID. That's how stupid kids could be. I was there.
Not at the COVID party.
Yeah, no, I was there in terms of stupid. I wasn't at the COVID party. Is it just those factors that you're not paying attention to, or do you think there are some players who are just concerned about it, but they don't want to give in to, peer pressure is hard to keep playing? What's an athlete going through right now?
Well, I don't think most athletes are concerned of what will happen if they get COVID and the effect that could have on their health long term. What I think is different is I think now more than ever, student athletes are aware of how much they're potentially worth. And so my question is around, from the opting out standpoint, not because of COVID, but all of a sudden, if you're a running back and 4 guys on your starting offensive line are out because of COVID, and you're going up against Florida, who's got a great defensive line, as an example, am I a running back who's going to put my future worth of making the NFL at a detriment because I'm just going to go get banged up all game? And so I think you have guys opting out not because they're concerned about them getting the COVID and dying or whatever, but I think it's what can happen if some other guys around them and how it can affect their ability to go make money. Then if there's not a championship, it's kind of like when you get to the bowl season, you guys got players starting to opt out more because if they're not playing for a national championship, well, what am I really playing for? I'm just trying to get to that contract in the league. If you get to these seasons and you're playing 6 games or you're playing another team the second time of the year, why am I playing? And so I think that'll be some of the issues more than opting out because they're afraid of getting the illness.
And you also have to wonder if a season goes south. If you're starting to see more, if you have a teammate or two that get it and it's serious, or they pass it to somebody that's serious, that's something to worry about. But also, let's say I don't want to make people mad, so let's say you're Georgia and the season goes off the rails unexpectedly. Are you more likely to have opt-outs, people quitting the team later in the year than you are early because they know, what are we playing for here? I'm done.
Well, and from a coaching perspective, from a legality standpoint too, is if a coach is over-motivating their guys to get out on the field, when I mean over-motivating, if there are concerns and they create an environment to where they don't feel like they're comfortable voicing like, Coach, I don't want to play, but then they get them to play and then something were to happen. And so I think there's a lot of people that are walking on some thin ice about which direction they take. It's not just about whether or not they want to be competitive. They're thinking big picture more now than ever because of monetary reasons as well.
The Washington Post reported there were a number of SEC players that were involved in a call on Friday expressing concern about playing this season. Now that's the first I'd heard of that was this morning, and I don't know if that's going anywhere. You mentioned the Pac-12 had, quote, hundreds of players that are concerned, but you've got one player at Virginia Tech, I believe, who's projected as a first-round pick. He's opted out. I think you'll see more players like that opt out. And we've seen a center fielder for Milwaukee, Lorenzo Cain. He's played in however many games they've played so far. He's opted out after seeing the landscape of the Major League Baseball.
The greatest concern is for those people that have underlying conditions. And there are some athletes who don't realize they have underlying conditions. They're so young, they've never been tested for something, they've had no symptom, so they don't know they've got something. But those guys who've had blood clots, for example,
Yes.
those are the guys that you keep an eye on and you wonder what happens there. Hopefully, season gets played and all these guys play and they play safely and nobody gets anything. But I think it may be
That's
putting your
almost
head
like
in
the
the sand,
impossible
hopefully.
dream, you know, if nobody gets it.
All right, when we come back, let's talk about coaches and who might have an advantage going into a season where everything's upside down. Come on back.